Hi, my name is Paul Riopelle. Welcome to the Riopelle Room. Here we are. Yes. Greetings. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Riopelle Room, and today I have... Who do I have? I have David Plenn with me. Dave, are you there?
I'm here, Paul.
Yes.
I'm here.
Thank you for joining me today.
It's going to be fun. I've been drinking all day, so it's going to be
yes,
guaranteed
good. I appreciate
fun.
that.
Yeah.
I like that. So, what are we going to do here?
You're going to ask me cogent, probing questions.
Oh, right.
And I'm going to hem and haw and give my best answer.
Well, let's just start from the beginning. Let's go back. And you're going to like this, Dave, okay? We're going to go back. We're going back.
Oh, my God. That's fantastic. I'm wearing diapers.
Yeah, right.
Or is that going forward?
Yeah, right. Oh, I love this already. Okay. So anyway, Dave, let's just start at the beginning. First of all, you're David Plenn. You play guitar in the Jerry Riopelle band forever.
Yep.
And you're basically Jerry's right-hand man.
Yeah.
When did you actually start playing guitar? I want to get to where you met Jerry and all that, but playing guitar, was that your first instrument, first of all?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, I think I played accordion for a few years when I was a kid.
Is that right? Is that a joke or is that true?
It's not a joke. There was this. How's this for a gig? There was a door-to-door accordion salesman, and my mom answered the door, and I also sold, I think, lessons at a music store. So my mom thought it would be a good thing for me. Why, I don't know. I made it to Lady of Spain, and then stopped. And then my dad gave me a guitar when I thought I was about 12. And just out of the blue, it's funny, I'd never expressed an interest in it. I thought I was going to play third base for the Dodgers, so I wasn't really
we all did.
thinking about it. And so I had this guitar, and it was just, I don't think I could play it today. The action was so horrible. But then this is just before the Beatles, and I had a friend who was into folk music, and Bob Dylan and Joan Baez, and she would play it. So I thought, that sounds pretty cool. So I was trying to learn how to play it. And then the Beatles broke. And then it was like, I got to learn how to play this damn thing. And just because I was so crazy for the Beatles, I could actually, press these strings down that were a mile off the neck and learn how to play. Right. And so I was about 13.
So the Beatles did it for you. That's what.
Yeah.
That was
definitely.
Well, I've never heard that before.
Well, there you go. You're learning something.
So moving ahead, so how did you meet Jerry? I know he was a producer at A&M. I know that, and you had a band. What?
I was in bands in high school, and I had joined this band called, believe it or not, The Plague.
Oh, wow. Prophetic.
Way ahead of our time.
Yeah, right.
And that turned into Thumper, and we started writing songs. I was in ninth grade when I joined them, but that was in 10th or 11th when we started writing. They started writing. I was.
So you joined Thumper. Thumper was already.
Yeah,
happening.
I joined them. Okay. Yeah, and I cannot remember who put together, because I was just this clueless little 16-year-old or 17-year-old. No, 16. I barely knew what I was doing, but somehow we got an audition with Jerry, and he heard something there. He liked the songs.
Well, first of all, that's a pretty big deal. You got an audition for A&M Records.
Yeah. I think our managers lived near Jerry on Beechwood. Okay. I think that was the connection.
Got it.
And they got him interested in it, and he heard something there he liked, and really liked our singer, Jimmy Hall. Mm-hmm. And so we started recording. He signed us to A&M, and we started recording at Wally Hyder, I think, is where we first started recording. And we did a song called Montreal, which, oddly enough, had a little interest when it was released by A&M, but one of the stations that was interested was in Phoenix,
right? Yeah.
Which is KRIZ.
Uh-huh.
And then we recorded 3 singles, But we had some good experiences. He took us up to Leon Russell's house for the second single, which was written by Jerry and, the B-side was written by Jerry and Stewart. Anyway, so we went to Leon Russell's place, and he put an electric piano part on it. And and I remember, and he went back, he kind of disappeared, and then we're there with the engineer, little tiny home studio. It's in his house. Asked the engineer where the bathroom was. He goes down the hall, second door, or whatever it was. And I went down the hall, and I opened this door, and there's Leon and Rita Coolidge sitting there watching TV. And Leon slowly turns his head and gives me that Leon gaze, which can, like, the force of it, like, drove me backwards. It's so powerful. And so, like, I'm so sorry. I'm just dumb teenager.
Yeah, get out of here, kid.
Walking around.
What are you doing here?
Like, what are you doing here? So we recorded with Jerry at one point, and then we got to that point, and then the band kind of dissolved, and Jerry said, "Hey, I'm thinking of doing a solo thing. Would you like to play guitar for me?" And I was, because I was just starting to branch into playing leads as Thumper ended. I was not the lead guitar player.
Right.
I was the rhythm guitar player. And so that was kind of a leap of faith for Jerry, because I wasn't really established as a lead guitar player, but he liked my ear.
Right. And he made a good decision, obviously. What was your first impression of him? Did you think he was cool? Was he intimidating?
I was kind of, intimidating.
He was.
Totally intimidating, yeah. He would, like, because he would look at you, and he wouldn't always, it seems like he never blinked. But back then, and it was like, I had trouble making eye contact because he had a very intense look.
Eyes, always,
and he was really, a great guy, but obviously, but, I was an insecure, like I said, 16-year-old, so.
Did you have to think about it? Or was like, I want to play guitar right with you?
I thought that was great, yeah. And Jimmy Hall, the bass player, was going to play bass. And then he got this drummer, Jerry Gibson, from another band to play drums. And that was the first record. But so there was it.
Well, how much time went by between you joining the band and the session starting for that first record? Was that like
I think there may have been a couple years.
Yeah. Oh, really? That much time?
I think it feels like, there was definitely
just club dates up until then, or he asked you to join the band. There was nothing, no recording session ready, or?
No, we just started practicing. So Jerry, a couple of years, somewhere in there, he got the deal. Then we just practiced a lot. That's the one thing we do, just a lot, because, like I said, I wasn't a real seasoned player. Jerry was just getting his thing together. And so we practiced, and I think we did a showcase at, I think we did a showcase at the Troubadour. And that's maybe what got his Capitol deal.
Oh, okay. So there was no deal yet when you joined the band?
No.
Okay.
No. He was just thinking of doing it.
And so you were just starting to play lead guitar, and you played lead guitar on that record. And what I find cool and interesting is that all of your stuff was acoustic with a pickup.
Yeah.
On that first record.
Not even
first
my
two
guitar.
Records, really.
It was Jimmy Hall's Guild. I had thin string so I could bend, I think. And then I put a D-Armond pickup into a Silvertone amp.
Hey, Dave, just a second. Sometimes I'm hearing some scraping sound when you're talking. Yeah, that. Oh, what is that?
Oh, I don't know. It's me turning my head.
Don't turn your head.
I need to take some supplements for the stiff joints.
Where were we? Capitol Sessions, playing acoustic guitar with a pickup.
Yeah.
Which I know that he always loved that. He would always go on about, even years later, I just dug the acoustic guitar pickup thing.
I don't know. I kind of think that was directed by or suggested by Jerry. I don't think I would have.
He takes credit for that. Yes.
Yeah. Then he should.
Credit for that.
Then he should, because I don't remember. That doesn't sound like something that I would have just. Hey, here's a great idea. Let me play a guitar I don't even own, and but that was pretty much a great idea, super idea. I need to go back and do that again.
Yeah. While we're going through this, Dave, I want to talk about a couple songs, and we're gonna figure out what your memories are about it. And I want to play a couple of your guitar solos as well.
Okay.
And since we talked about your acoustic with a pickup, you actually, I have here the first time, at least on a Jerry record, where you played electric guitar. It wasn't acoustic with a pickup. So I'm going to play that solo for you. What do you think?
All right.
Let me find
Let
it.
it rip. Let it rip.
So yeah, here we go. This is a song called Nickels and Dimes that was actually on the second record. And this is Dave playing an electric guitar for the first time on a Jerry Riopelle record. So Here we go. Take a listen. It will be coming.
Those tears come rolling down, and I just pray to God that my life lasts that long, long. Put up your hand, I need some affection. I don't want that brand, family protection.
So there you go.
Yeah, I like the acoustic. I was listening to the.
Well, yeah, that
I like
stuff is
that.
great. Yeah,
That
that's
sound sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an old big fat Gibson that had no really short neck on it. The ES 175.
Uh-huh.
It's a good guitar, but it was. I think it must have been the only electric guitar I had at the time.
Yeah. I love the solo.
It's for some reason I think kind of.
It's like a trumpet in
I sort of think it's a mode that I discovered listening to Stevie Winwood or a Traffic record. I don't know why. It reminds me of Traffic.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, you were listening to Traffic a lot back then, right?
Yeah.
But it's great. I'm curious, when you hear those old solos, do you go ooh, or do you go like, okay, yeah, I did. It was what's your first reaction?
That was like, nice try.
Okay,
that was a good try. That's cute.
Yeah,
it wasn't. I would love to play. I'd play it now and make it like really burn.
Yeah.
That was okay though for what I did.
Yeah.
I'm not cringing.
Okay, good. I like it. We'll go through some other solos too.
Okay.
So the first couple records, then you guys had a really cool gig. I mean, well, that was probably after the first record when you guys.
Yeah, I think it was.
Pacific.
Yeah, the first record was Santa Monica Civic, Kinks. Actually, it was us. Oh, this is when they used to have three groups. Jerry. The second group was Fanny, and the third group was Kinks.
There's an ad for that somewhere. I saw it.
And I was and I was pretty enamored with Fanny. I thought they were pretty cute. So watching them more than the Kinks were not coming out. They were arguing or something. I don't remember much about the Kinks, oddly enough. And then I think,
well, we do know that they argue.
Yeah. Yes. And then I think after that, Jerry had a tour opening for Poco, or no, maybe that was second. I don't know, somewhere in there, a actual tour, like a month or two.
Right.
And I couldn't go on it because I was still in school. I was actually enrolled in Pasadena City College.
Right.
And I had to keep my draft deferment. So
because I was going to ask, was it like, wait, I want to be a rock and roll star. Screw school.
Yeah, I would have. No, it was kind of a delicate balance there where I was trying to go to school, do that thing, and still play, but I could not leave for a month, do that. So I had to teach this guy, Mike McCulka.
Ah, yes.
And he would come over to my house, and I would teach him note for note everything I played on that record, or both records. I think it must have been the second album.
Right.
He was touring behind. And that was hard. That was really hard to do that.
Hard for you or hard for him to learn?
Both. It was just hard for me not to go. To sit
oh,
here.
well, that
Here,
of course.
Play these lines, and somebody else is never going to play your lines as good as you play.
Of course not. Yes.
So I just thought, oh, Jesus, oh well. And off they went with Milo as the drummer.
Oh, right. Milo, he was the drummer on that second record.
Yep.
Yeah, Jerry Gibson on the first record, and then I guess he went off to play with Sly Stone or Bobby Womack, or one
Sly
of those guys.
Stone, yeah.
And then so obviously the new drummer, Milo. And that's when John Harris came into the picture a little bit.
Yes, yeah. John Harris came into the picture, recording at Record Plant, and he won't mind me telling this because he tells it all the time and laughs about it. But we would play, this is the nuttiest, you can only do this when you're young. You know, our engineer, Rich Tillis, was also Sly Stone's engineer, so he would engineer.
That I didn't know either. Wow.
Oh yeah. So it was like there's a riot going on or one of those, and he was engineering until about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then we would come in and record until 8 or 6 or some damn thing. And John Harris came on recommended by Rich, great bass player. We got to try it. So he comes in for his first day on a session, and he's taking acid,
Right.
and he's tripping on LSD, and I had no idea, and I was pretty straight arrow anyway. So, but he just told us that later, kind of laughing. He said, "Oh yeah, I figured why not." I could tell you why not, but it worked out okay.
Well, what I heard him say recently was that's the reason you can't hear his bass on Silver Dollar, because he heard like something like that.
No, I think that's Rich.
Well, I was going to say one of the reasons. Maybe there was.
Yeah. That's funny.
Well, there's more to that song too. The story I heard, and you were probably there. You had to have been there. That he came out to sing this, to loosen up the band, quote unquote.
Yeah.
He came out with just his boots on to sing the
Yes.
track.
Yes. Just his boots. And the boots, Jerry had these Beatle boots, which were so worn out, and he would use gaffer's tape to keep them together. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he would. But he came out with, it was good because it's the middle of the morning now, we're just it's like this. So he had to do something. So he left and came back in. Okay, boys, here we go. And I'm sure that's the take that we ended up keeping.
So everybody out there, go listen to Silver Dollar, and you'll know that John Harris, the bass player, was on acid. Jerry was naked at the piano playing. And Dave, well.
She know my money, but she don't know my name. Call me Mr. Master Charge, it's all money, honey, just the same. Well, I've had a vision, Lord, I do believe I've seen. Christ came back on an Easter morn, and she came Halloween. Well, you might think I'm lying, but I promise I got gifts to give, and to give I do. She got gifts to give, but she not giving. Not unless she's giving it to you. We met in junior high. I was 21, just about to graduate, and she was just playing dumb. Got a job with Texaco, I was pumping gasoline. I was cleaning them windshields, and that old woman, she was cleaning me. You might think I'm lying, but I promise I got gifts to give, and to give I do. She got gifts to give, but she not giving. Not unless she's giving it to you. Silver dollar, gonna be the death of me. Silver dollar, when the money man will set me free. She don't know my name. She call me Mr. Master, charges money, honey, just the same. Well, I've had a vision, Lord, I do believe I've seen Christ come back on the Easter morning. My woman only comes on a Halloween. You might think I'm a lion, but I promise I got gifts to give, and the gift I do, I do. She got gifts to give, but she not giving. Not unless she's giving it to you. Silver dollar, gonna be the death of me. Silver dollar, when the money man will set me free. Silver dollar, gonna be the death of me. Silver dollar, when the money man will set me free. When the sweet lady like gonna smile on me. Woo!
So the first two records, and then there was another year that went by. So let's get into the mania that was Phoenix. What do you recall? You heard like, oh, we're getting airplay in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, I didn't. I heard we were getting. Yeah, so that was that was then after Saving Grace was recorded. So
Which I
there
want to
was
get to some of that session.
Yeah.
stuff too.
Okay. And that actually between those two records, we recorded some demos at this place in North Hollywood, and I think that's probably what got him the deal. Now I think about it. Blues on My Table.
Oh, and those. Okay, so that was at Devonshire.
Yeah, Devonshire.
And those ended up on the record, but that's what. Oh, that was what got the deal. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's how he did that. So, and then we went to play. We had a tour booked, so we go on tour. We aren't really aware that he's getting any more. I know there's some interest there, some interest in Milwaukee or Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
There was some interest sprinkled around, and oddly enough, in Holland.
Right.
And so the first date is in Phoenix. Fly into Phoenix, get out there, and we play the very first song. We're opening up for David Bromberg. This is like May of 1974. Mm-hmm. And play the first song, and dun, 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 living the life.
Right.
And people are reacting to the intro, and I'm like, aren't they clapping? I'm looking around. Did someone famous come in? I'm trying to figure out what the reaction is, and they're really liking it. And then somewhere in there we played Blues on My Table, and they just went crazy. At the intro, just the just the drum intro, yeah. And they knew it, and we were like, "Damn, this is like fantastic."
Yes. Well, speaking of, and that was kind of the first song that hit real big in Phoenix, anyway.
Yeah, and then we found out that KDKB, Bill Compton had this religious experience listening to the record, and just was like, "Dude, we got to play the." And he wrote on the album, "Play every cut on this record. It is good for your soul."
He wrote, actually, it was, "This is incredible music. Eat it, breathe it, absorb it. It'll help you grow in 8 ways." I actually remember that quote because I was going to use that.
You have it?
I don't.
Does somebody have it?
I don't have it. Someone did have it, but I there's a video of someone reading it off the album at the Compton Terrace show. One of the guys that came out before had the album in his hand, and he read it. He read that comment.
Yeah.
So yeah, very cool. Well, we're speaking about Blues on My Table. There's some cool stories about that session, Keith Olsen, and I've got your guitar solo lined up here, but let's talk a little bit about what you did, what Keith had you do, because that's pretty rock and roll.
Well, yeah. So we had cut the song at Devonshire, and Keith was such a superior engineer, and his equipment was so good, but he was kind of had to use these tracks, so we didn't like the guitar solo or sound, or I don't remember what the problem was, but he wanted to record it, and he wanted a kind of echo, which you now can get electronically with
of course,
outboard gear, but at the time you couldn't get this kind of a slap where it goes pa 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 pa. In fact, you can hear it in the "Rain on My Window," that verse where I'm just going a chick on. That's when you can really hear the echo.
Oh yeah,
chick,
okay.
Chick,
and that's the outside. That's
That's where it really shows up.
Well, we'll play the whole track too. So
Okay.
First, I'll play your guitar solo.
The guitar solo was, I borrowed a friend, Emmett Sinyard, has a Gibson SG, and for some reason I liked playing, I was messing with it, and I liked playing slide on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that, and to get this echo, we had to line all these mic cables out of the studio, down the hallway, into the parking lot. We had to have headphones, we needed a mic for the amp, and a mic for me to talk back on.
Right.
And then they put another mic like in a corner. It's a big cement enclosure basically, and they put a mic against like near one of the walls, and a close mic to the amp. And we played up there, and it was very freezing, as I remember, so I had to wear a jacket.
Well, the moment was captured in time with a photo.
That's right.
And that's actually in the Saving Grace album. That's on the insert. So there you go,
that's
folks.
Great.
Look at that picture. That was Dave recording the guitar on Blues on My Table.
Nobody had cell phones. Just somebody happened to have a camera. I don't know who did that even.
Well, let's listen to that solo real quick. Do you mind?
But I have to explain, if you see the picture,
please
it was so cold that we got a abandoned shopping cart and some wood and paper and built a fire in the shopping cart. So you can see a little flame in that picture next to me.
It's a great picture.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's play the solo real quick.
Okay.
And here it is. I love this record.
Yeah, me too.
Dave, that gives me chills every time I hear that. It really does.
That.
That's such a great record.
The other thing I should say about the solo is I'm using a wah-wah pedal, and not necessarily wah-wah, but I'm pushing down, picking up, and that was sort of inspired by an old J.J. Cale record called Pretty Mama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I still play that. A lot of my solos to me are not just me riffing, but they're actually meant to be kind of another part to the song, like another melody to the song.
Yes.
So I still play based on that. I don't play it exactly like that anymore.
And that was an SG.
Yeah. That was the Gibson.
Which you did not, was that your guitar? That was Emmett's.
No, it's Emmett's, and he has it still today.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, what we could do here now, let's actually listen to the song. Let's listen to Blues on My Table.
Okay. And then listen in the quiet part.
Yes, go ahead.
Rain on my window, you hear the guitar go chick. It's got a little echo to it. That's the parking lot.
That's the parking lot. Okay, here we go. Blues on My Table.
Nothing to see. Oh, after you've seen her laughing, well, there's no way to tell what she's done to your heart. Who do you cry to after she left you? Should have known, man, she was gone from the start. Girl, gone from the start. Well, they all tried to warn me, but I had already touched her. Well, they all tried to tell me about the trouble she brings, but I get so high like I'm off on a bright light. And though I got burned, man, now she's taking my way, flown away with my way, flown away with my way. Oh, you know, you know. Oh. Rain on my window, got rain in my eyes this morning. Got the blues on my table, I got the blues on my bed. Well, the girl didn't love me, alright, but she just didn't leave me. Was why would she wed me? Lady left me for days. Lady left me for days. Lady left me for days. Oh, you know, no, no, lady left me for days. Oh, you know, no, lady left me for days. Lady left me for days. Oh, you know, lady left me for days. Oh, you know, lady left me for days. One more.
Yowza.
Yeah, that's a Stuart Margolin song. I still remember him playing. He played it on the accordion, but
Yeah.
didn't sound like that. We spent an entire summer practicing that in Jerry's garage.
I was going to bring that up because that I can recall that as a kid going to that garage, seeing Freddie's drum set up,
Yeah.
which I thought was the coolest thing. I instantly became enamored by drums, just by the whole kit, this hi hat. It looked so cool to me. Pedals
Yeah.
making things happen, and
He was a great drummer. He was a great drummer. That part, I'll tell you, John Harris also that song is just playing
Yes.
bass.
Well, it's
It's
a
just
phenomenal track. I mean,
incredible.
it really is. It's just
He was a good. I mean, he's such a good bass player. But that was just really appreciating and listening back to it just then.
yeah.
And also the thing I learned from Jerry was the use of the accordion in the song, which is what that sounds like, a synthesizer or whatever it is. He would put it there because it didn't sound as sappy as a synthesizer, but also didn't want an orchestra there. But
Right.
so it still had some kind of funk, but it had that orchestral feel to it. What the
Yeah.
playing in that is amazing.
Yeah, he preferred accordion over strings and stuff.
Yeah,
things like
that's Nick DeCaro on that one. And I still, to this day, use accordion. And that's because of that, I think.
that. Yeah, which we're going to talk about your new record in a minute here, which reminds me because you have accordion on that, which is really great.
That's right.
Well, I'm looking at the liner notes for this record, and it according to the liner notes, Keith Olsen remixed all that stuff, all the stuff
Oh, yeah.
from Devonshire too.
Oh yeah, he remixed
So
everything.
he fixed
Yeah,
it all, basically.
He had to. Otherwise, it wasn't gonna hang with the stuff we cut at Sound City. It needed to sound sonically like the other ones, so it needed to go through him. Yeah, he did a lot of work too.
Yeah, well, it's a great track. Though you're right, the rhythm section. I mean, the drums and bass.
Yeah,
that thunk of the kick drum in the beginning, and John's playing is great.
And just the approach, John's approach. Some bass players will just go boom, 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 boom.
Right.
But he's going bow, do, 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 bow. He's playing that line. And, just great.
And his playing during your solo is,
yeah.
Boom, 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 or boom, boom, boom.
It's like a counter melody. Yeah, he was. Yeah,
wonderful.
Great parts.
All right. So, what do you got going on now, Dave? What is going on with you?
What's going on now is I was just about ready to go into the final, cutting the tracks and wrapping up this record that I've been trying to do for the last, few years. So I'm working on that. I'll probably release a couple singles. I'm going to release a single in a day or two. Well, I don't know when this is going to broadcast. So
the single will be out by then.
Yeah. I'm going to release a single about 2 weeks ago.
Again, let's go back. Do I need that sound effect again?
Yeah. I like the sound effect. And it's called Memorial Day, so I wanted to get it out just before Memorial Day. And it's the first thing I cut. I have Hutch Hutchinson, who plays bass with Bonnie Raitt, playing bass on that one. And an accordion player named Phil Parlapiano, which is a great name for a keyboarder.
And right when I saw his name initially, I thought Freddie Papalardo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Who was the drummer, by the way, on Blues on My Table?
Yeah. Did I say that? Freddie Papalardo. Great. Just a great drummer and just a beautiful guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put something out now. I'm going to release something next, and all the listeners can come to the David Plenn YouTube and subscribe.
Yes.
That'd be really helpful to me. It doesn't cost money. It's not going to mean anything. It just, the more subscribers I get, I get a free T-shirt or something.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But yes, please, people, go to YouTube and subscribe to David Plenn. Just search David Plenn, and you'll find it just as I did.
Only one song on there now, but there'll be more.
Well, by the time they hear this, you never know. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
I just listened to this song this morning, and I love it. And Dave, if you don't mind, I would like to play it right now. Is that okay with you?
Okay, I don't have to critique anything, do I?
No, let's just listen to it.
Okay, all right.
And I'm going to play it. Let the folks hear it. Here we go.
Okay.
Memorial Day.
He always loved his maker's mark. She'll pour a glass tonight and find a place where she can watch the sunset until the evening light. There's a flag hanging on her front porch, a little worn and frayed. Part of her tradition now each Memorial Day. He held her hand and then he said he loved her, and then he danced her round and round. She sees the scene playing in slow motion. They said his body never was found. Sunday suit hangs in the closet. She says it's just in case. She says a prayer for a missing soldier each Memorial Day. Standing at the screen, play in slow motion. And she remembers closing the door. He always loved his maker's mark. And she pours that glass tonight, then finds a place where she can watch the sunset until the evening lights. She makes a toast to the fallen soldiers and the MIAs and everyone they left behind. Each Memorial Day, here comes the night. Memorial Day, her glass held high. Memorial Day.
Wow. Love it, Dave.
Trumpet by Mark Hatch. I don't know if I said that. Beautiful player.
Yeah. Beautiful track all around.
Thanks.
This is really good.
Thank you.
Really good.
That came out of nowhere. It was
So will people be able to buy this song?
Yep, they can buy it and wherever, iTunes, all that stuff. It's all over the place. It's all, I think you on Bandcamp, you can buy it there.
Cool.
I'll have, if you go to my Facebook page, I don't have my web page up yet. That'll be davidplenn.com will be coming though. But yeah, it's odd to have songs happen. Sometimes they're related to something going on in your life. That had nothing to do with anything going on in my life. I bought a guitar from my friend Joe Henry, who just gave me a great deal on a 1951 Gibson J200 acoustic guitar. And that song just kind of fell out like it was in there or something. It was weird. I've been shaking it, trying to get more out like a pick, I can't get that. That's the only one that fell out like it. And I thought, this is weird. Why Memorial Day? I don't think there's even been a song about Memorial Day. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And again, go to Dave's YouTube channel, David Plenn on YouTube. And what else, Dave? We'll get back to the music again, and we'll come around, but the other stuff. But also, what about your day job that turned into a full-time job?
Yeah, my day job, which was 1994. Decided had my son was born he was a couple years old, and I thought I need some more steady income. And we talked about it, and we started a toy and bookstore called the Dinosaur Farm in South Pasadena. And we just finished 25 years last November. Yeah, I know.
Well, what can people do if they want to get a toy? I mean, this toy store is the coolest toy store you will ever see.
Well, when this comes out, hopefully we'll have solved the problem. I have a website that's been around. It's just dinosaur stuff, but the store is actually science kits, girls' things, trains, blah, blah, all this kind of stuff. But that's not on the website, so it's a little.
Well, tell people about the website anyway.
Okay, if you have anybody that loves dinosaurs, then it's the dinosaurfarm.com or dinofarm.com. And we're starting in.
Wait a minute, let's get that right.
It's either one of them goes there.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Did you say and then Dino or Dino Farm?
No, just Dinosaur Farm.
Good. Dinosaurfarm.com or dinofarm.com.
Yeah. In the meantime, we're trying to, as I'm trying to finish this record, get up another website that reflects the store more, especially for locals who need to go to birthday parties. They just want to drop, so we're putting that up. That'll have other things.
You will never find a cooler toy store than the Dinosaur Farm.
I take a lot of pride in it. We got, BuzzFeed named us one of 17 toy stores that'll change your kids' lives. And I remember them calling me up and say, hey, you haven't been answering our emails. You're part of this article we did, BuzzFeed.com. And they sent me a link, and I thought it would be like Southern California stores, but it was actually, the first store was in London. The second one was Tokyo. And then, all over the place, Portugal, New York, and then South Pasadena, California.
Wow.
So I was in there. We made USA Today's top 10 best independent toy store 2 years ago, and we get some recognition there.
There you go.
Yeah,
Well deserved.
It's a cool toy store.
Very much so. So let's get back to the music for a minute. I want to get back to it. I want to go to another guitar solo. We're probably going to have to do this in 2 parts. We'll probably have you come back and do part 2 with David Plenn.
Okay.
We'll never get to everything today.
No, that's fine.
But I do want to go back to the Saving Grace album again. And this is one of my favorite guitar solos by DKP. That's you, Dave.
Okay. No, thanks. Okay.
And I'm not going to even tell you what it is, but you'll know when you hear it.
Okay.
And here it goes. It's right here.
I do like that one. That one still gets me.
Just raw, reckless, and get out of my way. I love it.
There's also kind of a swing thing. I think my dad was like a big band guy, and I think some of that stuck. Da 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 da. It's really, it sounds like a swing band thing
right.
to me.
Yeah.
Even in the verse, dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, that's so funny because I always thought of that as like a horn part, a horn section.
Yeah, that would sound good. With a big Savoy truffle blues band horn section.
Right.
Yeah. No,
it.
that I like it. And that was also on the Gibson SG, which makes me wonder
if maybe that should be.
Yeah.
What are you doing with a Strat?
What the hell have I been playing? What all these years? I'm pretty sure I cut that at Devonshire that way. That was a tough one. The way that high note comes in is just great. I don't remember how I did that.
I was going to ask, do you think? Well, I was going to ask, do you think you may have recorded that in the outside with Blues on My Table? No, okay.
No, I did. I think it's actually left over from the other sessions, and I wasn't gonna touch that. I thought it was just what I wanted to play.
And what I especially love about it, other than what I just said, I love about it is your seamless transition. And maybe hopefully you're not going to tell me that it was an overdub, but the seamless transition from your fingering with your left hand to the slide part at the end of the solo.
Yeah, I can play that live.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was how I did it or not.
Just tell me you did.
Okay, that's exactly what I did. You're right.
I knew it. That's
didn't think twice about it.
Yeah, no, it's a great solo. God.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I know this about you, Dave. You don't necessarily like to go back and watch videos of yourself from past.
Yeah.
Do you get that same thing when you listen to a solo, or are you okay?
No, some of it's just I'm lazy. I don't want to go bother get the DV, stick it in, get the TV, turn the wrong thing, and then watch myself. When I was young.
But you're okay with listening to your solos.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's and I like it when I like it. Sometimes I listen back and I go, oh dear.
Well, that's what there's not many of those. There can't be. Not that I have heard. Or maybe there are.
I'm not going to tell you. No, listen not. Yeah.
Maybe Nickels and Dimes was one of those, even though I love that one.
Well, that's just one that I listen to now. I think, I could rip on that way. Then it was all I could do, Plus, it wasn't a very great lead guitar. The guitar wasn't a lead instrument.
Yeah, right.
No, but it fit the thing. I do like the acoustic guitar, acoustic electric in that song, playing the riff.
I'm wondering.
I like that song. We both like that song, don't we?
Nickels and Dimes, yes. Does anyone else like that song? Go to Facebook and leave us a comment. I love Nickels and Dimes, and I'm always pushing for that song and everything all the time.
Yeah, the genesis of that
I want someone to cover that song. I want Aerosmith to cover that or something. I don't know.
No, there's one. Remember, Jerry never liked the B part. Just want to know. And I always thought
like
it was perfect. I thought it was
it's
great.
Fine. It's fine.
He kept trying to change it and put
he
different
kept trying to
keys and
rewrite
chords.
it. Yeah, it's so
Yeah,
weird.
no, it was better the first time. It was good.
What did he know?
Yeah.
That was great. I mean, I know he loved that song too, but yeah, he did have a problem with that B section.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the record that I got to be part of. I'm a little kid, and I got to go to the sessions. Little bit of time.
Grace.
Well, I mean, I was around, but I didn't really. I wasn't really like hands on, or I didn't go to a lot of the sessions.
You were actually.
I was, I was more around for the certain Take a Chance sessions and a very little bit of Saving Grace. But I do remember. I remember the rap party, or what do they call it? The album release party in Studio A.
I remember you.
I remember that for Saving Grace. But Little Bit at Time album, I actually got to touch faders and do all
faders.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that was like early morning sessions. I mean, maybe there were others that were like that too. But I mean, I remember driving to the studio with my dad and picking up Steve Escalier, the engineer, at like 5 a.m, and then going in for some of those sessions.
The times when no musicians would be actually in the studio.
Yeah, and these were all mixing sessions, like overdub and mixing sessions, basically.
Yeah, we recorded all different times during the day, though.
Right.
But I do remember those. And what was the thing we used to get? Breakfast Jack? Was that what it was?
Breakfast Jacks, yes. Breakfast Jacks. And, he liked Heath bars. Do you remember that?
I didn't remember that.
Those like toffee type of candy bar?
Yeah, I know what they are.
Yeah.
I didn't remember.
Oh, man, he loves Heath bars. Heath bars, Breakfast Jacks, and of course a Coke. Big giant Coke with lots of ice.
Yeah, boy. Health foods.
Yeah, exactly. Studio food. So now this album, Little Bit at a Time, any thoughts about that, the making of this album? Because I've got a couple thoughts I want
to. There's all sorts of stories there. I was using a Roland Jazz Chorus amp.
Yeah.
There was one day when I was there, and my stepsister's husband had invented this thing called an EBO. And
wait a minute. Your stepsister's husband invented that?
Yeah. Greg Heat.
I'm glad I started to do this podcast. I'm finding out a lot of things about that are really cool.
Yeah. So I had one. I thought I should take it. So I took it to the studio. I was going to try, I think, and put it on Bring It to Me or something. I don't remember what I was going to put on something. So I was messing with it. And sitting in Studio B, and Stevie Nicks, she and Lindsay were always walking around there because they were friends with Keith Olsen, and they hung out a lot there. And she came in and started playing the piano, and I was playing EBO stuff to her playing the piano. And Steve Escalier, the engineer, says there's a tape of it somewhere. I have no idea if there is or not anymore, but I remember that. And then the other funny little snippet from there is Steve's sister dealt with at-risk kids, kids in juvenile detention stuff, and she thought they'd want to come to studio. So these guys come in and they sit down. They're good kids. They were very polite, but on that particular day we were recording overdubs for So Young, and what probably spent 45 minutes to an hour with me on a farfisa going bum 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 bum, and then we did that, and then we went out and sang do 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 do, and so these tough guys, they're watching these goofballs out there going do 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 do, really
over
losing any
and over and
over
over
and
over again.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a recording engineer out of our resume or out of our wish list.
And they're thinking, this is better than drugs? What do you
or for this, we need drugs.
Oh, for this, we need drugs. Well, maybe it was okay then, because they were probably on drugs. When they...
But I just remember that we were laughing. I didn't even think about it because we were so into doing this, overdubs on these things.
Yeah.
And then when they left, I think Jerry said, I wonder what that was like for those guys. Oh, yeah.
Whatever. I just realized that we totally skipped over the Take a Chance record, which everyone in Phoenix is probably going, wait a minute, Walking on Water,
Yeah.
what happened? We'll
Walking
come
on
back to that
Water.
next time. We'll get back to
Okay.
that. There's some good
All right.
stories there too, but I
The
wanted to
Stevie
jump.
and Lindsay appear in that one too.
That's right. Well, Lindsay sang on that record.
He did.
That album.
Yep.
River on the Run. That's
Yep.
Lindsay on those.
And you can really hear him too. It's
I know.
not
I know you.
not
can.
like buried in some chorus. No,
Yeah.
you can hear his voice.
We'll get to that album next time.
Okay.
Let's go back to a little bit at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, those are fun times, especially for me as a kid. But you have that album probably has your most successful co-write. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Easy Driver, because it ended up being
It's definitely my most
Yeah.
successful co-write.
Yeah.
That still shows up on, not much, but on my royalty statements. But that one, that was just great. That was so much fun playing that and recording that. Jesus, I love that. And I remember practicing.
We're talking about Easy
that.
Driver, by the way. folks.
Easy Driver.
Yeah.
I remember practicing, and Jerry was we would do this little kind of, before practice started, everybody just kind of like find something to play. And Jerry was boom, 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 but it was playing those chords. Dun, 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 and I started dun, 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 why, I don't know, doing that.
A cool
And then when
counter to that feel.
Yeah. And then when he went to the verse part, I played on the guitar. And that became the melody. Yeah, that became the melody for that part.
That's
And
cool.
Jerry I wasn't writing songs very much. I wasn't really writing songs at all. So Jerry was, saddled with doing lyrics, and I remember the first iteration was Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And I said, Sunday morning. It's like, that's asleep. That's not that alive sounding.
I have a cassette tape of rehearsals of that Easy Driver. Where, like probably 20 versions of Easy Driver being worked out. I wonder if that's on there. It's an
Probably.
old cassette tape. I'm going to have to
The
transfer those ones.
Listeners should know that you, Paul, have an encyclopedic knowledge of all things that Jerry. Do you remember things I do that I didn't remember that Jerry did? And if I like question you like I did the other day, I said I don't think so, and then I'll find out. Damn it, he was right. It did happen then. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and David Jenkins is not bad either, by the way.
No. Between the two of you,
it's
forget about
A
it.
little bit of a competition there.
Yeah.
So Easy Driver, that was one I remember a lot of the mixing session for. And it's also one where you have another phenomenal guitar solo. So I'm going to play it, Dave. Okay.
All right.
And here we go.
I'm listening.
Yeah. This is Easy Driver. Solo.
It's a lonely avenue tonight.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. I like that. I was nothing I would change in that, although I do when I play it. But
You always think you change the ending, or you try.
I
to
changed the ending.
different.
Yeah, I just because I figured. But I do like. I mean, to me, again, it's another melody. It's meant.
It's its own song. It's its own
It
song.
is. Yeah, it is, and
Right,
it's meant. That's the melody I want to play. I don't want to try something new every time and miss half the time.
Right.
So I like that, and I still try and recreate that.
Well, I'm gonna go right into another solo, Dave, just because it's right here at my fingertips. And this I like to call your James Bond solo. Another one, simple solo, but it's just so cool, and I want to play it.
I know which one that is.
Yes, and we can talk about it. You want to talk about it now? Or do you want to talk about it after? Let's listen to it. All right, here we go, folks. It's a little bit at a time.
Yeah, everything sounds like James, even that part. Yeah, I like that one too a lot.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about the other day, it's odd to listen to my first note really establishes a major key, even though the chords aren't major or minor, sort of, and there hasn't really been
there's no third in it at all, right? Or
no, his melody is little bit
it's kind of a dark,
pretty minory. But yeah, I like that. It's just another. I kind of think I had my wah wah pedal on, but just on the trebly side or something. There's something going on there. I can't quite remember or figure it out.
Well, the thing, what you do in the verse on that with you scraping the slide on your string, is that something? Did you invent that? I mean, was that something that was done?
Did.
You did.
I did. Yeah. And it's never been used before or since.
And you know what I remember? The faders to list that guitar said the cello part.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah, I could see that.
I remember that being written on the tape on the.
That would identify it for sure.
So Dave, I don't know anything else. We've been in here a long time. We have to come back part 2 to talk about the other records.
Yeah.
Again, go to Dave's YouTube channel, David Plenn. Search David Plenn on YouTube. Check out the Dinosaur Farm. That's dinofarm.com. Dinosaurfarm.com.
Yep.
And get his single, the new single, Memorial Day.
There you go.
It's great. Anything else, Dave?
No, thanks, Paul. This was fun. Let's do it again.
Well, there's plenty of stuff to talk about for sure. All right. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Paul.
See you next time. Bye.